Hey everyone, I'm Dylan with On1. You may have heard of us. We've been developing photography plugins for Photoshop for over 15 years. If you're tired of memorizing complicated steps to get professional looking photos, you've found the right plugins. Whether you're looking to add a unique look onto your image by stacking and blending filters, creating a flawless HDR photo in seconds, retouching portraits quickly, or enlarging images up to 1000% without sacrificing image quality, On1 has an editing app made for you. Each application can work as a standalone or as a plugin on Mac or Windows, giving you all of the tools you need to professionally edit your photos, but in a fraction of the time. Plugins are an integral part of photo software, and they play a major role in a lot of photographers' editing. When it comes to portrait retouching, On1 Portrait AI is the perfect plugin for retouching your portrait images quickly without using multiple layers or separate filters. Using Portrait AI as a plugin through Photoshop is fast, easy, and gives you complete control over your portrait's retouching details with no hassle. Retouching a portrait in Photoshop can be a bit intimidating. There's several layers that need to be used, along with masking and blending those layers together. Save yourself time when retouching and use On1 Portrait AI's powerful machine learning technology to do all of the work for you. Portrait AI not only identifies all of the faces in your portraits, it identifies all of the facial features in them as well. It uses machine learning technology to apply masks to them for you so that you don't have to paint in or adjust where the retouching is applied. Portrait AI will also automatically apply retouching to the faces in your shot, giving your images the right amount of retouching every time. All of the retouching and facial modifiers can be adjusted and customized to fit your particular style. Because you don't have to identify or find any of the faces in your shots, retouching your images can all be done by modifying your favorite sliders. Frequency separation, one of the most common methods of skin retouching, is the default method for retouching within the Portrait AI filter. This is the go-to method for that natural skin-textured look that was once much harder to achieve. Without masking onto your photo or adding new adjustment layers, you can conceal blemishes, add texture, smooth skin, and alleviate harsh lighting. All of these retouching details can be increased or decreased with a slider, ensuring that your other facial adjustments don't get modified. Adjusting face and eye size is also a breeze and allows you to fix common problems that occur when photographing different angles. Since the facial features are found immediately when you enable Portrait AI, livening up eyes, lips, or even whitening teeth can all be done in an instant with just a slider. Separate modifiers for each facial area allow you to fine-tune all of the details in your portrait. Eyes, one of the most important parts of a portrait, can be adjusted to add whitening and detail, making sure they look exactly how the client envisions them. Need to enhance eyebrows or remove baggy eyes? All you have to do is pull up on a slider. Lips and teeth can also be modified in an instant. Whiten teeth, add in a splash of color to lips, or change their hue to match the scene. It's really that easy to completely retouch your portrait. You can also batch process portraits using On1 Portrait AI, making it possible to retouch hundreds of portraits in seconds. After you've retouched your portrait to your liking, It will send you right back into Photoshop where you can continue your creative process. Fast and powerful retouching is just one of the many editing capabilities available with On1 plugins. With On1 effects, it takes no time at all to mask and blend adjustments and creative filters onto your shot. What would take several minutes in Photoshop can now be done in a couple of clicks using On1 effects and its powerful filters and masking tools. With over 30 stylistic and creative filters, there's not a look that you can't achieve. There's a filter for making details pop, styling, applying creative textures and overlays, adding in sun flares, infrared swapping, and so many more. On1 Effects is not only powerful, but it's incredibly easy to use. Not sure what a filter does? Previewing filters and what they do to your photo can be done by just hovering over them. You can also search for specific filters in the search bar, which makes it handy for showing all of the filters that deal with a specific look or adjustment. If you like bringing in detail to your landscape, there's no better filter than the dynamic contrast filter, the best tool for applying detail and making your scene pop. Every filter is completely customizable, maskable, blendable, and stackable. Use preset looks inside of each filter to quickly bring your photo to life, or create your own style and save it as a preset look that you can access later. Once you've modified a filter, use On1's responsive masking tools to selectively apply it to areas on your image. With feathering, opacity, and flow, brushing is natural and powerful. You can easily paint in a filter or adjustment anywhere onto your photograph, giving you the creative freedom that you've been looking for when you're editing your images. Beyond brushing, you can apply filters and adjustments with other creative masks in an instant. Luminosity masks are a great way to target bright and dark areas on your image. You can apply them inside of On1 Effects in one click. All masks are easily adjustable and can be modified to fit your scene. Whether you're looking to selectively add on a filter, or you need to light up your scene with adjustment layers, masking in On1 Effects is simple, intuitive, and responsive. You can add as many of these mighty and maskable filters onto your image as you want. Another powerful filter inside of On1 Effects is the glow filter. Which can be selectively applied to your scene using the gradient and shape masking tools. This is the perfect filter for softening up areas on your scene and smoothing out textures. Glow does wonders for clouds and water on your image to keep them natural and polished. Any filter or adjustment can be reduced with an opacity slider, making sure you have quick control over how strong a look is applied to your image. Filters can also be renamed and moved to stay organized or adjust the look that the stack of filters is creating onto your shot. Another tool inside On1Effects for creating dynamic looks onto your image are the fast and powerful local adjustments. Local adjustment layers are very easy to apply and modify inside of On1Effects. The masks are already created for you, just paint them into the specific areas that you need them to be applied to. Dodging and burning with brushing and selective editing can be achieved in seconds. The Perfect Brush is another very powerful masking tool inside of On1Effects. The Perfect Brush will selectively brush in adjustments and filters onto the specific colors that you're brushing over. A great way to avoid and protect areas from adjustments or filters. Because all of the filters and adjustment layers are maskable and blendable, you can quickly target specific tones in your shot using color range gradient masks. Color range gradients allow you to target specific colors and tones in your image while maintaining the shapes of your masks. Another very helpful tool for adjusting specific areas in your images. On1Effects also gives you the ability to quickly create, modify, and apply presets to your photos. Saving your creative looks is a breeze. You can even modify which settings are saved inside of the look, including masks that you've created. On1Effects also comes equipped with a vast library of creative presets that you can instantly apply to your photos. You can even lower the strength of the entire preset look that's applied with just a slider. All of the presets are completely adjustable and customizable. You can add in or remove filters as you please, modify filters, mask away filters from areas on your shot, arrange filters differently, or even update presets to how you want them to look. On1Effects not only comes equipped with hundreds of creative presets and filters, there's an extras manager that allows you to import and manage creative assets such as presets, textures, backgrounds, borders, and LUTs. On1Effects is the complete package when it comes to photo editing plugins. It's the essential plugin for powerful creative filters and adjustment layers that are stackable, maskable, and blendable. Aside from creating amazing looks with powerful filters and adjustment layers, On1 plugins work hand in hand with Photoshop to give you a seamless editing experience. Even when using Photoshop's Smart Object mode on a layer, you can quickly send that layer to On1Effects for creative styling. After you've modified the shot and given it a beautiful, unique look with the powerful filters and adjustments inside of On1Effects, send it back to Photoshop and you'll have a smart filter created. This smart filter will house the adjustments that were created when you modified the image inside of Effects. You can now modify the smart filter just like you would any other adjustment layer. If you're familiar with Photoshop's masking tools, you can adjust the look by masking and blending the smart filter into your scene. To readjust the smart filter and go back into On1 effects, just double-click the smart filter. Now you can readjust or completely redo your look. This is a perfect way to create a stylized look with the many filters and easy masking tools inside of On1 effects, and then take that look back inside of Photoshop to readjust or modify. If you prefer to do your masking inside of Photoshop, you have the ability to send layers into On1 effects and then use the copied layer as a maskable effects layer. Adding in detail and making your scene pop is a piece of cake inside of On1 effects. All you have to do is apply a filter. Once my filter or filters are applied to my image, I can head back over to Photoshop, where I can mask and blend in this copy of my original layer onto my photograph. On1 plugins also work with actions inside of Photoshop. Recording an action of modifying an image with an On1 plugin and saving it back into Photoshop will save those steps for you so that you can run that action and quickly apply that look to any other layer that you're working on. This is a huge time saver for applying stylistic looks, resizing, and retouching your portraits. Speaking of resizing, On1 Resize is a lifesaver if you're looking to increase image size up to 1000% without sacrificing image quality or detail. I've taken this image of fall foliage and I've increased both of these photos to 600%. The image on the left was enlarged using On1 Resize, and the image on the right was enlarged using Photoshop. The image that was enlarged with On1 Resize maintains much better quality and detail, and they were both enlarged to the same size. On1 Resize uses Gen1 Fractal's algorithm to resize any image to any size without removing any of the details or integrity of the original photograph. This is the perfect tool if you are often printing your images for display or enlarging them for commercial work. On1 plugins are also sensitive to the layout that you're using in Photoshop. If you're working on a multi-layer document in Photoshop and you send a layer into On1 effects, the layout will remain the same, as will the position of your layer. That way, your screen remains the same as the one you're seeing inside of Photoshop. On1 plugins also work with Lightroom, so if you're looking to quickly browse for an image without cataloging or importing, you can browse through any folder without importing using On1 Photo Raw's powerful browse module. That way, you can simply find your photo inside of Browse and send it over to Photoshop or Lightroom to modify. On1 has a vast array of plugins to help improve your photography and your photography editing. There's a plugin for every type of photographer at every skill level. Learn more about On1 plugins by visiting www.on1.com. Thank you for watching and happy editing from all of us at On1.